Ebooks. So a few objectives of today's presentation. We're going to cover different reading applications and products that are online, also known as e-reading. Also, how to download or purchase ebooks, the general layout and controls of e-reading applications, as well as apps and websites for accessing ebooks and audiobooks online. So first, as we usually do when we go over the pros and cons, there are some great advantages of ebooks. Firstly, they are accessible anywhere, no matter what you're doing or where you are, as long as you have a device with you. They have adjustable text sizes. If you find it hard to see screens, you can always enlarge the text size to make it easier to see. You can also adjust the brightness. It keeps your page, so there's a bookmark function, so you don't have to actually put in a physical bookmark as you would with a real book. It's easy to turn pages just using a swipe or click of your finger. There are read aloud features, so if you don't want to actually have to read it yourself, you can have someone else read it to you. They're environmentally friendly because they're not using hundreds of pages made from trees, so it's really saving up a lot of trees. They're affordable. There are many free books that you can read online. You can also search for words or phrases or quotes within the books if you ever want to go back or highlight something or remember something in particular. Now, there are some disadvantages, definitely fewer than there are pros of ebooks, but there are some, including that some books are unavailable other than in hard copies. They cannot be sold or given away. They lack the nostalgia of having a paper book or the feeling. I know a lot of people love the feeling of the pages or the smell of a new book. And also, authors can edit ebooks after publication, meaning you won't have the original edition if they make changes to it. So there are devices called e-readers, and this is one way that you can read ebooks. An e-reader is specifically a device that's made just for the purpose of reading ebooks. Examples include Kobo, Kindle, and Nook. There are many public libraries that carry several different e-readers, which are there for you to try or even sign out if you don't want to buy your own. So you can check in with your public library and see what's available to you. Now, you may be wondering which is the best reader, but it really depends on everyone's unique preference. But the general consensus from our research says that there are 3 top e-readers currently on the market, including Kindle Paperwhite, Kobo Clara HD, and Kobo Libra H2O. You can go to sites like wirecutter.com by clicking on that link, and by going to this site, you can review products thoroughly, and it's a great place to research anything that you're thinking of buying. You can also click on the hyperlink on the slide once you receive a copy of it in a few days in order to watch a past webinar on choosing an e-reader if you are very interested in buying one, but you don't know where to start. There are also some e-reading applications or platforms. If you want to read an ebook on your mobile device, you must choose an e-reading application to do so. And there are some examples that we're going to cover in more depth, including Apple Books, Kindle Books, Nook, and Google Play Books. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see the icons for each of the respective applications. Firstly, we're going to go over Apple Books in a bit more depth. Something great about Apple Books is that it comes pre-installed on most Apple devices, though it is not available on Android devices. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, then this is perfect for you, but you will not be able to find it or install it on an Android. They have many free books available. One of their features is VoiceOver. So you can enable this feature on your iPhone, though it's not actually built into the application. Audiobooks in particular are sold separately. So if you want, say, an author's voice or an actual narrator reading it, you're going to have to get an audiobook. But if you don't mind Siri or another kind of iPhone-like voice reading it to you, then you can use VoiceOver. And there are around 5 million books available for download from this particular application. Next, Kindle Books. This app is great because it's available on both Apple and Android devices. Just as Apple Books, it has many free books available to you, so you don't have to pay any price. Many books do have the built-in option to listen to a narration, and there are even more books than on the Apple bookstore, with 6 million books available for you to download. The next application is Nook, and again, similar to Kindle, they're available on both Apple and Android devices. There are many free books. There is no option for books to be read out loud, and there are about 4.5 million books available for download. And the final application is Google Play Books. It's only available on Android devices, so if you're an Apple user, this is not possible for you to use. They have many free books, and they have book narration as well, so you can be read books aloud to you. There are also around 5 million books available for download. So all of these platforms have so many different books. It's like having a massive library at your fingertips. Now we're going to do a comparison between e-readers and e-book applications. And just a refresher, e-readers are the actual devices with the main purpose of providing you with digital books, whereas e-book apps can be installed onto your device. So for e-readers, you can keep thousands of books on one device. It's great for long reading sessions, so it has a paper-like screen and it won't strain your eyes as much. It's also lighter weight, so you don't get tired of holding it up or in your hand. And there are even some models that are scratch-proof, dust-proof, and even waterproof. So e-readers are great for kind of having that feel of reading a book, and it serves the purpose of really just reading. Though there's also the alternative of just downloading an application onto your mobile device. It's a lot cheaper rather than buying a whole other e-reader. So because it is built in, you don't have to carry around any extra gadget. It's not built for long reading sessions, which means that it can more easily strain your eyes from the blue light and other light coming off of the screen. And if you're not satisfied with the book selection or setup, it's great because you can just download a different ebook application. So there are so many possibilities for you if you're just using different apps. Now we're going to go through the process of downloading an e-reading application onto your device. All of the apps, except for Nook, are accessible from a computer as well, and they are all compatible with a tablet or iPhone, or phone, sorry. And to download one onto your device, you want to visit your device's app store and search for the name of the app. So whether it's Kindle, Nook, Google Play Books, or Apple Books. And depending on the device you're on, if it's an iOS device, you want to go to the Apple App Store. If you're on an Android device, you want to go to the Google Play Store. And if you're on a Windows computer, you would want to go to the Windows Store. So once you have an e-reader, if you have one, you will notice that there's a general layout of them. So all of the e-readers and e-reading applications are very similar. They usually have two main tabs with some other features as well, including a search bar, which may be inside a bookstore tab, and this is where you can browse for and download ebooks. There's also typically a library or My Books tab where you can see and read the books that you own. So here's an example of one of the applications. In the bar at the bottom of the screen that you would use to navigate, you could go to Reading Now, Library, or Search. In an e-reader library tab, it may also be called the My Books tab, and it contains all of the books that you personally own. In order to turn the pages, if you're reading a book, you can swipe in the direction that you want to turn the page. So if you want to go forwards, you would swipe forwards, and if you want to go backwards, you would swipe backwards. Typically, there's a bar to go through many pages quickly if you want to kind of fast forward, or if you lost a page, or if you've already read it before and you want to skip a chapter. There's also a search bar at the top to find certain words or phrases, which can be really helpful if maybe you're doing some sort of project or you're really interested in finding a certain passage. How to download an ebook. In order to download an ebook on an e-reading application, it doesn't really matter which one, it can be of your choice. You want to go to the search or bookstore/shop tab. And this is going to be a bit different on whichever app you've chosen. We wanted to provide more of a general presentation, but there are going to be some differences and discrepancies between different apps, but this is just the overall idea. So if you have a particular book or series in mind, you can just search it using the search bar. You can type in its name or the author. And there's also usually the possibility to search by genre if you want to do a more general search as well. The next step, once you have found the book that you're interested in reading, you can download it. If you want to see a summary, you can tap on the book's cover, and there are also buyer reviews available, so make sure that you're getting the right title when you're downloading it. Typically, there will be a button either to the right or below of the book, which will say Get or Buy, as well as its price. You will be asked for confirmation before downloading any book, and the cost of the book will then be charged to whichever card or payment method you have set up in your app store. So it's going to automatically go through whatever payment you have in your app store. So just be aware of this, that you are being charged if it says that there's a price for the book. Now we're going to go through some of the e-reader settings. Some common features among e-reading applications have a few basic changes that you can make for yourself, including text size, font, and text color, which is all super great, and it's not something you can do with a physical book. So instead of having to, bring it closer to you because it's too small for you to read, or not really enjoying the experience because you don't love the font, you can make these personalizations to really make the experience as good as it can be for yourself. Typically, you can make these adjustments in the settings menu, which will conventionally be a gear shape as usual. Many of you are probably familiar with this. If you have an iPhone or iPad, it's a gray gear icon, but in most applications, it's also going to be a gear icon. And then there also may be 2 capital A's, and that represents changing the text size. So if that's what you're aiming to do, then you want to look for this symbol. Next, we're going to go over some free ebooks that you can get with your library card. So some apps do connect with your library account, and then you get to read them for free. Examples of these sites and apps include Libby and Hoopla. Both of these are available for download on all smartphones and tablets, whether you have an Android or Apple device, or onto your own computer through their website. Libby is also known as Overdrive. So if you're having trouble finding that website on your computer, you may want to try that alternate name. Once you are on the app, you'll be instructed to put in the name of your library and then also put in your library card information so you can set up an account with the app. Books will automatically be returned as well. You can click here on this link to watch a past webinar on Libby where we go into more detail on the application. There also are public domain books that you can read online. If you have an interest in reading classics, then you can go to Project Gutenberg, Internet Archive, and Open Library. And these sites allow you to read public domain books and other texts for free. So these are some other great alternatives for finding text to read online. Now, you may be also wondering about audiobooks, because I know a lot of you have expressed in the past that you love audiobooks, and Penny's nodding. So that's wonderful. There is some availability on the mentioned apps in the previous slides of this presentation. So that's great because you can just use the narration feature, but there are also, in addition, dedicated audiobook apps, and a few that we recommend are audiobooks.com and Audible, which is an Amazon company. And these are subscription-based platforms, which means you pay in advance, but there are free trials if you want to just try it out, or maybe you just are going through a phase where you love listening to audiobooks and it may not last a long period of time. So a bit more on audiobooks.com. It's available on both Apple and Android devices. You get 2 free audiobooks per month if you do not pay for the subscription. You can access many deals and discounts with this app, and there are over 175,000 audiobooks available for you to download. So there are many books. There are other apps that have more in the millions, for example, Apple or the Google Ebooks, but this is also a great option for audiobooks. And then next we have Audible, which is available on both Apple and Android devices, so it's compatible with whatever one you have. You get 1 audiobook per month and 1 extra within a recommended selection of books. You have many deals and discounts available to you, and there are over 200,000 audiobooks available for users to download. It's also very easy to switch between listening to reading by itself with Kindle books, so you can use that in unison with Kindle books. And if you want to watch a past webinar on Audible, you can just click on the link on the slide once Nicholas sends out a copy of the presentation.